Right, we've got. I'm really pleased to welcome Ben and Gary onto stage. I've been told that Gary can talk a bit, so we've got to try and get Ben talking as much as possible. So they've got a really interesting story about a father and son journey of working on a mini, restoring a mini. Um, so we're going to start with Gary. Do you just want to give us a little bit of the background to the story, why it started, why you chose a mini?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So at the age of 10 years old, I told my son he couldn't have a car till he built his first car. There's too many kids that are on the techs, on computers, Nintendos or whatever they are. We don't really use them in our house. So I said, if you want your first car, you've got to build it. And then between us, we decided, or Ben decided, picked a Mini, didn't you?
Yeah.
And once we decided on what car he wanted, then yeah, we could go and pick a car, and then the idea was to restore that car over the next 6, 7 years. Once it's fully restored, we could then use that car as his first car to take him to the prom in, and then also it'll be his first car at 17 that he'll be driving and he'll own because the car's registered in his name from 10 years old.
Okay, thank you. So Ben, tell us a little bit why you chose a mini, and then once you've chosen a mini, how did you go about choosing the one that you've been working on?
So the reason we chose Mini was because my dad's friends have been rebuilding Minis since obviously not at a young age like me, but a younger age, and they've built their Minis back up now. So we decided that being as such a cool looking car, and that we already know that we've been told that they're a good car to rebuild, and they're always rusty, so you'll have somewhere to start from. We decided why not to get a mini, and then we went looking on like different platforms, eBay and all that type of stuff, and we saw a mini from a farmer, and we decided, yeah, that's the right one. Let's just go through it, and we went over and bought it.
Brilliant. And what was the first thing that you did on it? And what's the process? What sort of has been done on the mini since you got it?
So obviously we had to take it back home, trailer it back home, got it back home, and then that day we stripped the whole interior out and half of the wiring loom for the whole car. And then the next day we were on it all day again, and the whole interior came out, and it came just to a shell with the subframes on and the wheels. And then we jacked it up, and we realised that the floor you could put your foot through. So that was the next project. But before we had to take the floor out, we had to support the car, because if the floor's not in, then the car will just fold. But we took the floor out eventually after putting some support in, and with the floor out, we decided that we needed to go somewhere to get a new floor, and that's where we found Motive, and they gave us a new floor with a discounted price, and that was the first big job on the car.
Brilliant. Um, Gary, Ben obviously knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You told me that you're not from an automotive background, you're not a vehicle technician, you're
No, that's right, yeah.
What was sort of the inspiration for doing it?
Well, I have been an electrician all my life. I've been in a trade, and when you're in a trade, you see so many kids that are not going into trades. There's no hands-on learning nowadays. Even at schools, they don't even have a proper D&T class. You know, they basically do nothing with them. And I didn't want that for my son. I don't know what he wants to be an RAF pilot when he's older. So, but I just wanted him to have those practical skills to learn. And I thought the best way of doing it so we could spend the time together was in the garage. You know, I'm not the best mechanic in the world, but if I don't know, I can ask. And I thought, whatever I do know, I have built and raced cars over years, but never have I gone to the extent we've gone to with this car. And never did we expect it to be as a bigger journey as it has been. We did a full 12 months more, didn't we, in the garage before we even thought about YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. It was just going to be me and Ben in the garage, and that was it. But from one message going to Virgin Radio, I got an interview on the Chris Evans Virgin Radio show, and from there it just started to escalate, and yeah, the project began. Off we went. From doing nothing, we've replaced every single panel on the car, haven't we, mate?
Yeah.
So on that, there's obviously a lot to do. Who made the decision on buying that mini with the big hole in the floor? Was it you or your dad?
It was me, because obviously, well, it was both our decisions really. Because my dad wanted me to, he wanted to give me a good enough job to like actually do something instead of just having a little job and not having a big enough job where we end up dodging it and it's not a good job. Because you always tell me if you're gonna do a job, do it. If you're gonna do a job, do it right.
Yeah.
But we decided that was a good car because obviously we would have to do a lot of work on it, and it wouldn't just be a little project that would be done in 6 months to a year.
And when you started off, what was the ambition always aiming for that sort of 5, 6, 7 year project so that you get it, well, it was ready to go when you're sort of 17, when you get to drive it yourself, or are you going to drive it before?
Yeah, well, we wanted to get the car at least ready for my prom because we want to go to my prom in the car, which would have been amazing. But at the rate it's going because of YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, we've got to get the videos out, which means we're in the garage a lot more than we expected, and we've got the car finished within the next year, we reckon.
Okay. So of the bits that you've done on it so far, what's your favourite single job, and then your favourite sort of overall thing?
One of my favourite jobs I always liked seeing was the engine because I've been doing that like nuts and bolts and spanners and all that type of stuff since I was even younger. But the panel part was hard because I've never done that before, and it was my first time doing panels. But the engine I knew my background behind, so yeah.
Neither of us have gone to that extent really with panels before. I've never done panel work, certainly to that degree. We've had professional builders tell us what a good job we have. I mean, Ben, when we started the car, he couldn't pick any tools up, so we had to buy special tools so we could use smaller tools. Being 10 years old, you can't just give him a 4-inch grinder and say, go cut that out. But in 2 years, he's learned to cut, grind, weld. There's videos on our stand just up there, and you can literally see Ben cutting panels out the car, re-welding them in. He's welded the whole cage. He's done a mint job. He's welded the floors in. Apart from actually picking an actual spot welder up, because they must weigh 20-25 kilos, the spot welder, and actually he couldn't use the spot welder. It's too heavy to pick up. And then you've also there's a lot of pressure needed to compress it. But every other part of the process, MIG welding or cutting, grinding, cleaning, polishing, whatever, Ben's done it all, yeah, and he's 12 years old, so it's amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. I loved your point earlier about putting a mobile phone down and actually do some practical things.
Yeah.
A lot more other parents have learned from that. When you started out, have you been surprised, or what's the sort of skill or the talent that Ben showed that was the most surprising to you, or the proudest?
Yeah,
of that?
all of it, to be honest, because when you see your son at 10 years old, literally not able to do a single thing, and you're going in the garage, and the biggest thing I've had to learn something I've never had before is because even if you task somebody a job and generally they just go and do it. Well, at 10, you can't task him a job because he can't do it. You've got to teach him. So every single job's got to be learned. So I've had to learn patience and he's had to learn the skills. And to do that together, oddly, when we're going to look back on this, and you're looking back now when I see the videos, we forget what we've done. So in years' time, it's going to be amazing to look back and say, when he's 17 or 16, when he drives that car to prom, he'll be the coolest kid in the school, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Who leads on the design choices of what the car's going to look like at the end of it?
I do, because obviously it is my car, but it'll be my design with which I like the best and what's my favourite part about it and that type of stuff.
You've designed, tell them what you designed.
I designed because I wanted the car obviously a certain colour, and I designed it to be like a pearl white with no other colour in as the main car, and then the roof is going to be the blackest black. And then I also chose a certain custom style of Martini rally racing stripes throughout the car.
Where did that come from?
I don't actually know. It was your kind of idea, but it looked really cool because obviously the classic cars used to have them. And
we looked at loads, there were loads of types. You saw that and liked it.
Yeah, it looked really nice and it just made the car stand out even more.
Yeah, you can see the picture of what he actually wants the car to look like in the end is on the shirt there. And going off that basis, we've around that design, we've designed our own interior light, haven't we? That's Rally Martini based. So when you open the doors of the car, that'll be the light inside the car that'll come on and shine. And then obviously when you hit the brakes, we've got a rear brake light on the car as a third brake light. And so literally as you touch the brakes, that'll light up in the back of anybody's first car. You know, they're just little gimmicks we made for ourselves, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you were telling me beforehand about the trip to Nuremberg. Do you want to tell everybody else about that?
Yeah, if we obviously, as we think it will be finished before prom and it'll be finished early, we reckon that we'll end up going on road trips. And the first one we want to do is because at 14, the Nuremberg, you're allowed to take your car and race. And we both decided that it's a good road trip for me and my dad to take the car down and not race it, but take it round and drive around the Nurburgring, and then drive back home.
You're selling tickets for people to join you.
People would wish, I hope.
Brilliant.
People can donate if they want.
What do your mates think of it then?
My mates love it. They're like amazingly like wowed by it because whenever they come around, they always ask, "Ben, how's the Mini? Can I see the Mini?" and that type of stuff. It's in the garage, and obviously they can't see through the window, so they'll just ask me to open the garage.
What bit did you like showing them the most?
Because the favourite bit of showing my mates was when we first put the car on the rotisserie. Because when we first put it on, they'd asked us to look at the car, and I was like, yeah, sure. And I'd take them in, and then I'd start like turning the car around, and it's like a full 360 in air.
The first thing I taught, the best way of learning him to weld is on thicker steel. You can't learn to weld on really thin, fragile metal that just blows through when you can't weld very well. So we learned with thick metal, and the first thing we built was a rotisserie, and the garage wanted.
Yeah.
And Ben's done all the welding on that rotisserie to make it. So we designed our own, made our own. It's not the best, but it does the job for us, done the job for 2 years. And you can then fully rotate the car in the garage to get to every panel, can't you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. What tool do you think has been the most important in the process of working on the car?
School, did you say?
Tool.
Oh, I'd say the welder or the spot welder because obviously it's got to be welded and it's got to be secure. So
that's what you've done the most of, isn't it?
Yeah, the welder or the spot welder.
Okay. And I understand there's a pretty special story behind the steering wheel as well.
Yeah, the steering wheel was a massive story because if you want to start it off, because you got
I can tell them. So I had a message come through off. A lot of people have sent us a few messages saying they love the story and love what we're doing. And Motorlita are the biggest classic car steering wheel makers in the country, probably in the world, I'm not sure. But they offered to give Ben a steering wheel for free. And I'm like, I'd love to have a steering wheel off you for free. I said, but I can't accept it unless my son can be part of it. And he went, what do you mean? I said, so no, really. They're like, well, so what do you mean? We never had anybody say no. I said, can my son come to the factory and make his own? And they were like, oh yeah, that'd be incredible. So he's the first person ever to be allowed into the factory to make every part of the process, like you tell them.
Yeah, and we started obviously on the steering wheel and then the wood, the polish, everything about the steering wheel. Me and you were the first ever people not working for the Motorlita to go into the factory and build my first ever steering wheel. And they've also done a custom box, which says Mini Boy for me, so that's amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. Some quick fire questions. Who's the messiest in the garage?
I'd say you.
Unbelievable.
Who's the most argumentative in the garage?
You.
Oh, definitely me. Definitely me, yeah. It's hard to keep you cool in the garage. Do that, yeah, anyway.
Obviously, you focus on finishing the Mini. What comes after that?
After we finish the Mini,
Project Bull Motive.
Chris sat in the middle there.
Dave.
He's got a mini van.
Clubman Estate.
He wants rebuilding, and that might be our next project for that, using obviously Bull Motive parts.
Yeah.
And the rest of you, Gary?
Rest for me. Yeah, I'll leave it all to Ben then. He should know what he's doing.
Amazing. Ben, you've been brilliant. Gary, you've been brilliant.
Yeah.
We've got time for a few questions from the crowds. One final question for me. How can we all keep up to date with your progress, how the car's coming along, and how fast you can get around that Nürburgring?
Well, if you subscribe, follow, or Instagram, we're on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Minimuch First Car.
Brilliant. Is there any questions from on the floor? Anything? Leave you wanting more? You're all going to watch it on YouTube? All going to go buy a Mini and restore it, push up the prices? Sorry, Gary. Brilliant. Well done, Ben. Well done, Gary. You've been
Thank
brilliant.
you,
I really
yeah.
enjoyed listening to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Brilliant.
Well done,
Nice
both.
one. Cheers.
Thank you.